I spent so much time working on the Malibu lately that I kind of forgot about this. I didn't think this thing would ever come back.
He got baptized by a streetcar. About to make its maiden voyage out of the driveway.
First time in, God, I don't know.
The tags on it are from 2019, so.
Sounds about right.
2018, 2019. So it's been 3-4 years.
It seems like it's been longer than that.
Yeah, I mean, well, it came back for like a year, but that was kind of short-lived, you know. We only raced it for like 1 season, but before that it was several seasons.
I can't imagine what it's going to be like to have my Nova to drive around in again.
We'll get it there.
Like, kind of thinking about it last night, I'm like kind of getting excited to make trips down to Restoration World and like start getting parts for it and stuff, you know.
I think it'll make good content too, so people want to see it.
Yeah, like the grill is in kind of bad shape and like plastic piece is broken, and we've got a new mirror. Like the mirror's been broke off of it for years, and I don't know, it's just like back when the car ran and was on the street or driving, whatever, I really didn't have the money to mess with it. Like, that's why it's the way it is. But now I'm in a position where I can do a little bit with it, and I'm kind of excited. I don't know. I spent so much time working on the Malibu lately that I kind of forgot about this. I didn't think this thing would ever come back, but I'm excited.
So we're getting ready to drive the car over to my shop now. We have to do the cold side over there, and to do that we have to use my aluminum TIG welder. We don't have a TIG welder here. So we're gonna drive it over to the shop and do this cold side, get it done, and after that start checking some little things off the list, but that's the main thing we need to get done right now. It's been about 3 or 4 years since this car's left the driveway, and it'd be interesting to see Dad's reaction, him driving it for the first time in God knows how long.
Come on, June. Oh, you don't know anything about that roll bar light. Come on, baby. Hop in. There you go. Drove my car again. Like, the carburetor, obviously we don't have a hat on it, but driving it over here, it drove as clean as a whistle. Like, perfect. I'm really happy with the way it drives off boost. We'll see how it does once we build boost, but just driving it over here, it drove like any normal carburetor, like perfect. It run a little hot. I think it's got a thermostat in it. We need to look at that, but it ran like 190 to 200 all the way here, and it shouldn't do that. So might have a problem with the cooling system, something, maybe the water pump or thermostat, who knows. But need to look at that. And I think one tire's a little low on air because it was kind of...
Yeah, we didn't check the air pressure in the tires.
Yeah. Gas gauge works.
That's good.
Gas gauge works. Really happy about that. Brakes are terrible.
I could smell them. But hey, we got some good stuff coming for brakes.
Stuff coming. Yeah, I'm really excited. Like, I really hope that this thing holds together for a little while. Like, I don't want to destroy this thing. I don't want to push it till it scatters.
I'd like to be able to drive it a little bit.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to enjoy it, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what it does because it is a stock crank, stock block, stock rod. It does have like a TRW forged piston in it, like ancient forged TRW piston, but it's a hydraulic roller camshaft, Brodix track one heads, your old intake, and a blow-through carburetor. So it's like pistons, heads, cam, intake. That's how these kids talk today, but it's just a stock bottom end 350. So I don't know, we'll see. I think it's going to run really good. It drives really good. It cruises good.
Is it pretty loud?
Yeah, it's a little bit loud, but I think once we put the Borla mufflers on it or whatever we stick on it, I think it'll get...
Yeah, we still got some finishing up to do on the exhaust. There's a lot of finishing up to do.
Yeah, there's just a whole lot of little stuff, but the main thing is it does run, it does drive, it moves, it stops. That's more than I can say for a long time, you know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. I think it's going to be really good content. I think there's a lot of people that's going to be interested to see what we can do with
There's
this.
a lot of stuff to work on, so the content's there.
Definitely first thing is brakes, because it's terrible. It has no brakes.
Yeah, I could smell them when you pulled in here. So the fan wasn't working.
Yeah, we just started checking some things over and the fan wasn't working, so that's probably part of why it was overheating.
Yeah, part of it.
So this fan is an ancient, I don't even know where it came from, probably out of the junkyard knowing me. It looks like something out of the junkyard.
Yeah.
But it's on 16 volt now. You guys put 16 volt system in it, so I would say that there's a good possibility the 16 volt may have cooked it. It needs a new fan anyway.
Yeah, we'll have to get some better fans. We'll probably put like a double fan on it or a big single with a shroud.
Might just get one of those nice aluminum radiators like I got for the Malibu, you know?
That'd be good too.
Because
that's just like a single core.
it's just a stock Nova radiator with a junkyard fan on it.
Yeah.
That's all I could afford back in the day, man. That's like, this is the first time it's had an actual electric water pump on it. Before, it had an old aluminum water pump off a dirt track car with a Ford Falcon heater blower motor with a little belt that spun it.
Yeah.
That's all I could afford. But we'll get there.
All right, so we're getting started on modifying this cold side. Because we took that spacer off the intake to be able to fit the hood, we're running into an issue with the cold side now being off, obviously, because the carburetor is 2 inches lower. So I have to basically lower this pipe about 2 inches where it used to be like this. I got to cut about 1 pie cut out of it to get it lower. That way everything lines up and is fairly close, and then I can go from there. So we got my Nova back together, and now we went over to my shop. If I sound like I'm sick, it's because I am pretty sick today. But we went over to get my dad's car from my shop. We finished the cold side up on it, and we don't have a whole lot left to do. We sealed up the tank. It's still leaking just a little bit. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more welding on the tank probably. It doesn't leak when the fuel pump's on, but when you turn it off, it has a steady little drip, so I'm gonna have to address that. But for right now, we're able to drive it, and he's happy, obviously, getting to drive the car again, so I'm really happy to see him back in it going down the road. I think he got into some boost a little bit. It sounds really good from back here. Make turbo noises.
It makes turbo noises.
It sounds pretty good.
Is it pulling timing?
Yeah.
You sure?
It's pulling timing from my ramp that I got set in it when it was on methanol.
I didn't want to get on it too much because once it lights the turbos, I don't know whether it's pulling timing.
Yeah.
And the fan, the big fan, doesn't work. The little one on the transmission cooler is working, and it kept it 195.
Yeah.
But I think it's got like a 195 thermostat, which is way too hot.
Yeah.
So right now it's running pretty hot, and I didn't know if it was pulling timing. I don't know. We don't even know where the timing's set. We've never had timing light on it.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounded clean.
It's clean. I haven't touched that carburetor. I literally bolted it on. We drove it to your shop without a hat, and I just drove it back with boost for the first time. It's just on gate.
How'd it sound different in the car?
Sounds good.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. It gets right up and goes. It's lively. We'll let it cool down. I'll let you drive it up the road, see what you think.
All right, for the first time ever, we got both Novas in the shop, face to face. Pretty cool. Pretty damn cool. So here's the finished product, or at least mostly finished. Still gotta hook up some odds and ends, but it's getting there. We're gonna check the timing on it. Make sure it's safe.
Well, my ride's broke, so I had to go to the next best thing. It was red.
You scaring the neighbors?
You're scaring the chickens. You're upsetting the neighbors.
You ought to see what I did in town.
What?
You ought to see what I did in town.
You rode this all the way here?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be running for mayor in next election. How are they
I
going
was
to...
running downtown Krugersville past the police station up Main Street. Oh, yeah. I sent you a video. It'll move.
Are you drunk?
No, I wish. It'd be a lot more fun.
That's just what you need.
You got
a DUI.
one slick on one side,
Go-kart.
one radio on the other.
Did you
What are
lose
you
that? Is that yours?
Yeah, that's the seat brace.
Jesus.
Parts falling off.
How are you gonna get home? You don't have any headlights.
Use the force, Luke. It's my new fire truck. Look, a trailer in the back. There we go.
So what are you going to do now that the fire truck's blown up? You ordered a engine from the junkyard, and he hasn't
I can
pulled it
put
yet.
that on pause and then use that as credit for shit I need for this blue one.
Good girl, June Pup, shitting in the weeds. I'm a little bit concerned because the neighbors have got chickens over there and they're free roaming right now. Afraid when Scrap finds out, it's going to be on like Donkey Kong. So far, she's being
Let the
good.
viewers know what your dog was in the pound for when you picked it up.
Killing a chicken.
Yeah, killing chickens.
She sees them chickens over there. I'm scared to death what's about to happen.
Oh, I know what's going to happen. It's going to be some Freddy Krueger shit.
Scrappy Krueger.
You better get some chickens that look like theirs just on standby just in case.
To replace it.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. Good girl, Scrapper.
We got both Novas together.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Both of them. Both of them.
Yeah. The tank leaked at first and then it stopped.
It did?
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
But yeah. Dad's Nova makes boost.
Makes
Made 10 pounds exactly. And we didn't even check the timing.
All the rest of it.
Luckily, the time
Yeah,
was
luckily it was 30.
Come on, Scrappers.
Come on, Chev. She wants that go-kart.
Come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, Scrap. Yeah.
Behold. All we gotta do is run some wastegate dumps and hook up some vacuum lines, but it makes gate pressure. I drove it over here, it sounded pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I got on it, and it definitely comes up on boost. Pretty quick, too. But as soon as it would come up on boost, I'd let out of it because I didn't know what the timing was set at. We hadn't checked it yet. Thankfully, it was only 30 degrees, so yeah.
He almost got ahead of himself. He was feeling that
You guys
boost,
love
and
to
he
do
was
that.
I was feeling it. Got like a 195 thermostat in it. I want to get that out tomorrow. It needs a new fan because the 16-volt system burnt the fan up because the fan's from like 1980. We're going to put a new fan on it. We're going to hook up some wastegate dumps. We've got some fittings that we need for the wastegates to hook them up tomorrow. Yeah, just a few little things, and I don't know. I mean, I drove it up the road. It came up on boost, and it made pretty decent power, it felt like, for the amount of timing it was on. The carburetor so far I haven't had to touch. So it sounds really good. I can't believe how good it sounds.
I've got an air fuel gauge in there now.
Yeah.
The old air fuel gauge out of my truck, the AFR 500. Got it switched over to read gas scale, so that's good. You know,
We're back on that GoPro data life.
yeah, at least for the air fuel, yeah. But
Oh yeah, it's got a grid in it now, doesn't it?
yeah, long stuff with the grid. But you have to have a memory card.
So I got a hold of our friends at Strange, and they want to help me out with all new brakes all the way around this, because currently it has factory drum brakes all the way around it. So above 55 miles an hour, it basically has no brakes. So that's a problem. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the 12 bolt out of it. It's got a factory Nova Camaro 12 bolt rear end in it, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and put a Strange 9-inch in it with 35 spline axles and the whole thing, because this is the slowest this car will probably ever be from this point on right now. Seriously.
It's probably pretty quick right now. Even.
So this is just the stock bottom end 355. But I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and build another 400 like we used to have in your S10, or maybe even a 421.
Whatever we do, the base is there now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'll build a nice little E85 street motor that's built for boost, and yeah, it'll be
The
good.
Nova's back together. My
Yeah,
Nova.
this thing runs. Sounds good.
We went all the way to St. Louis and to backtrack when it spun a bearing at Clay City about a month ago. We were on our way home, and Dad called up Henson because Henson had told us if we ever needed anything to call him, and so he answered first ring, and
Bob was in the
he
hospital.
said to bring it up. Yeah, Bob was in the hospital that weekend with his heart out of rhythm, and so he already had my small block there. Jimmy Dale's small block was a part in his shop, and I didn't want to put any more workload on him than we really had to. So
he was already stressing out how he was going to get everything done that he had.
yeah,
And
he
we
was
didn't
already
know.
stressed because he couldn't get Jimmy Dale taken care of while he was out here. Jimmy Dale had to go home for a few weeks and then come back, so he was already upset about that.
And we didn't know how long he was going to be out of work.
Yeah, it wasn't something where I didn't like want to take my engine back to Bob or anything. I didn't want to put any more stress on him than I had to, and I knew that Henson could do a good job. Obviously, he's a very well reputable engine builder, and he's done a lot of big blocks. He did Murder Nova's big block back in the day. He found a few things that he didn't like in the motor, so we changed that out. We put bronze bushings in the lifters, put 903 lifters in it. He put the rod and main clearance where he likes it. He opened those up a little bit, and hopefully now that I've got everything sorted out, hopefully it lives forever, at least till the next freshen up. At least a full season I'd like to get out of it. I'm hopeful. Mike knows his shit, and when it leaves his shop, it's good, so we'll see.
Did you say anything about your oil pressure issues you've been dealing with?
So the oil pressure issues were stemming from the turbo oil regulators and plumbing them back into the valve cover. We switched that up, and then that helped. And then we eventually got rid of the regulators altogether because we were running the regulators back into the pan after that, and then we got rid of them altogether, and we're just running restrictors to the turbo now. And at Clay City it had pressure throughout the whole run, but it had a lot because it had spun a bearing and it had restriction. So I think now it's going to be fine. I've got an accumulator on it now just in case it ever drops, and we've done every little precaution we can do to make sure that doesn't happen again. So the oil clearances are set where Mike likes it now. We opened them up quite a bit. They were pretty tight.
Why don't you fire this thing up now that the exhaust is all done?
Yeah, I'll fire it up.
Fucking thing sounds good, dude.
I think it's gonna run pretty good too.
Don't get me wrong, I love LSs, but you'll never make one sound like that.
Yeah, it sounds great. It always sounded good. Even in the 55, it always sounded really good. He wants to quiet it down and add a second muffler, so we're gonna do that. Make it even more sneaky. Because really, it just looks like an old bracket car. I mean, that's really what it is. Twin turbo small block, but it's gonna be a fun cruiser for sure. It's got the stock tank in it, and the fuel gauge works, so you can really drive it pretty far. I mean, it's got like I think it's a 16-gallon tank probably. It'll be a lot of fun this summer, that's for sure.